Spring is leaving us and summer is bringing some great weather, so I brought you outside here today so I can show you the books in person. The first book I read this year was actually part of a wrap-up from 2021. I went back to read some Tolkien, and I thought I would start with Silmarillion because I'd never read it. Fantastic book, and that was back in 2021. And then The Hobbit, which I read before Christmas. And leading into 2022, I started with this beautiful edition of The Lord of the Rings here. This is the version, let's go to the top there. This is the version that used to sit on the shelf of bookstores when I was a kid. Beautiful picture of Gandalf on the front there. And yeah, this was a fantastic read. All 3 volumes flew by for me. Admittedly, Return of the King I'd never read before because I had actually DNF'd during The Two Towers previously as a younger man when my patience wasn't what it is now. And reading this through with the benefit of the Silmarillion makes it an easier read and much more enjoyable read. And I'll probably have a review of some Tolkien works later in the year, and we can talk more about this. So, moving out of the winter, I began reading The Broken Empire, the first book being Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence, a much shorter book than Lord of the Rings. This one's less than 100,000 words, and I would recommend anyone who is like me, is a slow reader or struggles to read. This is almost a perfect start as long as you are interested in grimdark fantasy. This one doesn't pull any punches, but it's a very snappy read. It's a lot like watching a Netflix TV show, but in book form. So very, very, very accessible, and a massive recommendation from me. After that, I went for something a little bit different, Assassin's Apprentice. Some people have mentioned this, you know, has elements of grimdark. I didn't find it did at all, really, to be honest. But I did love the prose and the character work here by Robin Hobb. I recommend Robin Hobb, definitely, for anyone that likes, maybe if you're into Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. It's kind of does feel a little bit of a halfway house, and it's definitely a comfort read. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Then I decided to tackle something a little bit larger. You can see a nice chunky boy here, Eye of the World, Wheel of Time. This is an Orbit Books release. They have got a bunch of matching spines. I'm not a big fan of the covers for these, but I can see why they went with this. It's obviously, once they're all on the shelf looking nice together, and you know, in the bookstores, maybe it draws people to it. What I will say, guys, is don't be put off by the TV show. This is 10 times better than the TV show. Character work's much better. Feels a lot more Lord of the Rings than the TV show did in reading it. So if you enjoy Tolkien, I think you'll probably enjoy Wheel of Time, especially Eye of the World. This was a slow read though. I do not recommend anyone starts with this. The middle chapters can be a slog, all right? Some of the characters you will not kind of get on as well with as some of the others, and that will kind of bog you down in the middle chapters. It did me anyway. So as much as I enjoyed this book, I would not recommend this as a place to start with fantasy. All right, as the spring really started to heat up, I started, this really was the year of the first book, the first book in a series, and I started with The Witcher. Yeah, I'd already played the games and watched the TV show just like everyone else. I really wanted to try the books. I heard start with the novellas. This is The Last Wish. This was fantastic. I'm pretty sure I went well with every single short story in here. It's a quick read. Geralt is hilarious. This is as much a comedy as it is a fantasy epic, and it's had me chuckling many times. Really good book, The Last Wish. I had to go back to The Broken Empire. Prince of Thorns was such a quick and fun read. I had to go straight off the bat and get to King of Thorns. I wasn't planning to read this until next year. I thought I would do a bunch of book ones, but I had to get back to this. So many twists. This again, it's like a TV show, in that, you know, every chapter seems to end with a twist. It's shocks, it's thrilling. I really recommend you guys read The Broken Empire. And then finally, this spring I read another book too, yeah, I couldn't help myself. I had to try Royal Assassin. A lot of people were recommending it, saying it was much better than the first book. It was fantastic. This is a fantastic book too. The character work really comes on. You'll love the characters by the end of this book. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Royal Assassin. That's a great book.